This handsome structure is the Guardian Yurt, the lovely warm Mongolian tent into which we retreat when the weather's really nasty like it is today. After the drama of Ruth Padel's resignation from the post of Oxford Professor of Poetry, she has been here in Hay rather bravely taking to the stage to do the events that she was booked to speak at. So she's been talking to a distant cousin of hers, Emma Darwin, about the latter's historical novel. And she also spoke very beautifully, actually, about her own poems about Charles Darwin's life. The curious thing was how closely she was trailed by security. So there were huge, burly security men marking every exit in these rather kind of small, intimate events, and an inordinate number of stewards clad in fluorescent jackets. And before each event, there was a formal announcement saying that Ruth wouldn't be taking any questions about the poetry crisis. There's been a huge amount of comedy in the mix. We've got Marcus Brigstock taking a sideways look at the morning papers every lunchtime here. We've had Dylan Moran, we've got Jeremy Hardy, and a great favourite of Hay audiences, Stephen Fry.
I was speaking to an elder of a particular tribe where we were filming rhinoceroses, as it happens. And I said, is it very exciting that Obama is quite clearly going to become president? He said, we are very, very pleased. And I said, yeah, the first black president of the United States. He said, you should remember one thing. If he had stayed in Kenya and been made president of Kenya, he would have been our first white president.
I can tell you something funny about Stephen Fry, because I happened to meet this very nice gentleman in the green room who was wearing epaulettes, very smartly dressed, very un-Hay, and I got into conversation with him, and it turned out that he was Stephen Fry's helicopter driver. So Stephen Fry had actually come to Hay from Battersea helipad by helicopter, and I asked this very nice gentleman how much it cost, and he said it was £3,000, so a little bit more expensive than the train. But he was great value. He was an avid Guardian reader. He was off to go and see Lisa Jardine give a lecture. And he told me who else he'd had in the back of his cab, which was kind of everyone: Elton John, Tony Blair, Kate Moss, the works. I've been rather guiltily looking forward to someone who is absolutely not a giant literary figure, but it's Irma Kurtz, the agony aunt, whose columns I used to read in Cosmopolitan in the 80s. So I'm intrigued to learn what she's got to say now about growing old disgracefully.
A strange thing about growing old, and it sounds so sad to the young, but it's not, is that you give things up, things leave you. It's a very good idea to have a really good time with your appetites, with your inclinations, and with your curiosity while you're young. Because believe it or not, appetites become exhausted and impulses leave you. And the one thing you never want to have when you're old are regrets about things you did not do. So if there's any advice to give the young about getting old, it's do it.